Are you drilling multiple holes in steel? Then this video is for you. See you in just a moment. I'm Tim. You're watching Shop Tool Reviews. If you spend any time drilling holes into steel, stainless steel, aluminum, or any other type of alloy, you really need to check out Champion Cutting Tool. Now specifically, this set is the CT7P and then -5, but basically it's their hole cutters. Now why do you need this? Well, typically when you're going to drill a hole, especially any type of larger hole into any type of steel, and when I'm talking about steel, I'm not talking about sheet metal. I'm talking about, 1/4 inch steel, 3/16 inch steel, 3/8, 1/2 inch, even up to 1 inch. What's your typical go-to? Well, you might do it the cheap way where you start out with your 1/8 inch drill bit and you drill your pilot hole and you step up a couple of sizes and you drill another hole. You step up a few more sizes and you drill another hole. I get it, right? You break out your drill index, but then typically you're capped out of, say, a 1/2 inch on most indexes. Or you may step up to those bigger bits, but you're walking your way through that. You're burning up your drill bits. You're wasting a lot of time or burning a lot of time. Or you drill your pilot hole and drill it a little bit bigger, and then you get your car reamer out and you ream it to the size you need it. And that's not a bad way either. In fact, Champion Cutting Tool makes one of these, and we've reviewed these, and they work really well. And that's great when you need to do a few things. But if you're really into production and you're needing to do more than just a few holes, then you're probably either reaching for a typical bimetal hole saw, which you'll burn those up pretty quick as well, as you can see with this one. It's been through a few wars. Or you're going to get something that's really made to do the job. And that's where this CT7P set comes in from Champion Cutting Tool. In addition to making great products, Champion Cutting Tool is also based right here in the USA in New York State. Now their products are top notch. I'm telling you, when it comes to cutting steel of any sort, whether you're talking about blades, drill bits, hole saws, hole cutters, they do a great job of making the tools for the job. Now this hole cutter set comes in 5 sizes, from 9/16, your 11/16, your 13/16, 15/16, and your 1 1/16 inch hole. All of these will cut up to 1 inch in depth. Now let me just quit talking. Let's go over, use these, and see what we think about them. Now you can just look at these and tell the quality in these, made very, very well. They have a 3/8 shank on them, so you can run them in a smaller drill. However, I would definitely recommend running this in a 1/2 inch drill, especially when you're stepping up into thicker steel and in the larger holes as well. You also see that you have a spring in here that's actually going to push out those holes as you cut them. So they're not going to get trapped down in the hole saw. It's going to help eject that. And you see the pilot bit is installed there as well. And those are replaceable. So you see the hex key here, the Allen set screw. You can use an Allen key and back those out, replace that pilot bit as well as that spring if you need to. So easily be able to replace those as needed. The kit comes in all these sizes, so 9/16, 11/16, 13/16, 15/16, and 1 1/16. These are all, as I mentioned, for 1 inch depth, so the size of the diameter, and then up to 1 inch thick steel. And also one thing to note in here is the instructions, or are the instructions, where it actually gives you the speeds and feeds of drilling these. So you need to know also your drill and how fast it turns. That makes a big difference, because you don't want to be burning these things up when you've got a larger drill bit and you're trying to turn it 600 RPMs and you need to be at 100 or 200. So also you're not going to get good cutting if you've got one of the smaller drill bits and you're trying to turn it too slow. So understand the different speeds on your drill, especially if you're using a cordless drill, and understanding the RPMs and the speeds and feeds of the material that or of the drill bits themselves. And then, as you can note here, whether you're drilling into steel or stainless steel, and then even into aluminum as well. And we're going to recommend that you use a lube of some sort. Now, Champion Cutting Tool has some great lube. We'll be using the Brute paste wax, so that works really, really well, especially when you're dealing with hole cutting. Seems to stick better and just do a better job of lubricating and keeping the cut cool. Let's go ahead and use these. Okay, we're going to start out here. We're going to go middle of the road with these. So we're going to start out with this 13/16, and it tells us here that 9/16 to 13/16, that's 700 to 1,000 RPM. Now, if we look at our drill that we're going to use, it actually says here low or speed 1 is 0 to 450, 2 is 0 to 1300, and 3 is 0 to 2000. So we definitely need to be in speed 2 and not quite wide open. So I'll use my variable speed trigger to kind of be there in the middle and try to hit us in that 700 to 1,000 RPMs. Go ahead and chuck this up. And you can see we've got the 3 flats in there that should make it very easy to grip in that chuck. And then, as I mentioned, we're going to use the Brute Lube. This is also from Champion Cutting Tool. Just goop it up on there. And then let's get started here. Now that's one thing they recommend when you're about to go through. Make sure you let up on it so you don't smack that with the carbide teeth. That's just going to basically kind of diminish the life of the carbide teeth that are on the hole saw itself. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to dip back in the wax. Go back to it. And you see that spring pushing back against me, that when I go through, I know that sounds like I'm in hammer drill mode, but I'm just in drill mode. This is not a hammer drill. So, there we go. So now we've got a hole, and you see it's ejected that metal. In fact, it flew across here somewhere, and there's our piece. So nice clean hole that we could chamfer that up if we needed to, or we could roll back on. Now, I'm going to cut this next one, and instead of doing any talking, I'm just going to cut straight through, and we'll see how quick we can do it. Here we go. It'll help ejecting this one. There we go. Ejected itself. So that's a 13/16 inch hole. Now let's just take, for example, we're going to use our typical drill bits, and we'll just start here. Take a typical drill bit here. And I shouldn't say typical. This is a jobber bit from Champion Cutting Tool as well, but just a standard drill bit. So now I've drilled that one, and then I've got to step up to another one and drill it. So now let's just say I'm going to step up, 6 or 8 sizes, and then maybe next up would be my car reamer, which, by the way, this is a 3/4 inch, so not even as big as that 13/16. But I'm still not quite big enough for my car reamer, so I've got to step up another few sizes. Okay, so now let's see if I'm big enough for my car reamer. Which, by the way, these are really cool if you've never used one of these as well. Get some lube on there. And we'll have to go in low for that. Now we've got a 3/4 inch hole. So I had to go through all of that to get what just took, I don't know, a minute to drill through with our hole cutter. So now we're going to step up to the 1 1/16 inch bit. So 1 1/16 inch across diameter, and again up to 1 inch. And by the way, this is 3/8 of an inch thick of steel here. And so, and speed and feed on this, or speeds, is 500 to 800 RPMs. So a little bit less than our other one was. Get us a little lube. That's a lot of lube. And here we go. There we go. I think that performance pretty much speaks for itself. Now, is this set for everyone? No, it's a $200 set, maybe even a little more for this 5-piece set. Now, you can also just buy the hole sizes that you need, or you can buy a 4-piece set, or you can go to Champion and they'll probably build whatever type of set you want. But again, the price here, you're looking at a couple of $100. Now, that's quite a bit more than just your typical drill bit index, or that's quite a bit more than your typical hole saw set. But that's not the point, because when it comes to efficiency, you're talking about time and labor time, shop time even. So that adds up rather quickly, especially when you're burning through drill bits as well as spending labor time to do that. You can build in that ROI pretty quickly if this is something that you're doing on a regular basis. So again, you may just need some drill bits, but if you're drilling a lot of holes, especially larger size holes, that's where a set like this really comes in handy. And the ability, you don't have to have a mag drill to run these. We were using a typical DeWalt cordless drill. I mean, so it's going to work quite fine. In fact, it was nothing special, just a 1/2-inch cordless 20-volt drill. And it drilled rather easily. You see all the hole plugs here. So it did really, really well. Also, these car reamers work pretty cool as well, but you still see that drilling through with a single bit was quite a bit faster than drilling with a couple of drill bits, then following up with a car reamer and so forth. Hey, check them out from championcuttingtool.com. Also, would you keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter? If you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe button only if you like this video. If you didn't like the video, give us a thumbs down, but would you let us know in the comments why? Have a great day and keep smiling.